Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here with your Bolts Weekly show with myself, Fredo Cervantes. And, it is a good Wednesday here in Los Angeles. Why? Because the Chargers picked up their first win of the regular season against the Minnesota Vikings this past Sunday at the new stadium they got, because that is a beautiful stadium they got over there in Minneapolis. But the matchup that I was talking about last week, and I was teasing you guys about it, it was going to be an interesting one to watch, especially the way the game ended. And yes, this is where I'm going to start off the game, because this was a critical point in the season. And not just in the season, but in Brandon Staley's career. Because even though they came out victorious, he still got a lot of heat on Monday morning all over the media business. And guess what? Brandon Staley's still the head coach of the Chargers right now. He picked up his first victory, 28-24, behind Herbert's career night. And I will be getting closer into Herbert's career night. But when we look at what happened in that game, we got to move forward and get close to the end of the game, because there were a minute and a half remaining in the ball game. With the Chargers up by 4, the Minnesota Vikings were playing a sloppy defense where the Chargers were able to get ahead of them late in the fourth quarter. The Chargers had a 4th and inches. 4th and inches. You know how many? It's maybe like this much inches. They had one play to go for. Brandon Staley decided, hey, you know what? I'm not going to punt it. I'm not going to kick this ball, even though Minnesota had 0 timeouts. 0 timeouts for the Minnesota Vikings. The Chargers had the opportunity just to field goal, not field goal, but punt return, kick them back to the field, and they weren't going to get across. The Vikings offense was struggling so much that with no timeouts in 90 seconds, they weren't going to get across the field. No way. No way they were going to do that. Well, Brandon Staley has been known for going for it on 4th and down, which we like to call, 4th and Staley. The 4th and Staley play this time did not go through. Brandon Staley went for it, and guess what? He decided not to do a QB sneak with Justin Herbert, who is 6'6", the tallest quarterback in the NFL. He decided to give it to Joshua Kelly. I love Joshua Kelly. No disrespect to the man. He's a third-year running back out of UCLA. But Joshua Kelly did not even run for anything in this game. He was not effective so far because he had ran for about 24 yards and 11 carries. You do the math. So why give the ball to Joshua Kelly to try to close this game? No way, no how that was going to happen. But Staley went for it, and he got crushed on the yard line right there. He got crushed. Guess what? Turnover. Now the Vikings got the ball at their 20-yard line. They were 20 yards away from winning the ball game. But guess what? Guess who their quarterback is? It's not Justin Herbert. It's Kirk Cousins. Not your cousin. Not my cousin. I don't want him to be my cousin, especially the way he's playing. But you got to look at the decision-making that Brandon Staley is doing right now. Even though he should get a little pat on the back. Get a little pat on the back because he ended up winning the ball game. He won the game. That's at the end of the day, I don't care how you won the game, but you won the game. 28-24. But Brandon Staley said after the game, he's like, look, you know what? I felt good about it. I felt like that was the play we had to go through, and we failed. But hey, I trust my defense. I trust my defense to get a big stop. And guess what? Kenneth Murray, number 9, K9 as people like to call him. K9 came through with a big-time interception right at the goal line, and the Vikings got so much bad luck going for them right now, as they are on the verge of talking about trading Kirk Cousins right now. So the Chargers were able to take care of business. Brandon Staley saved his job, because if he was I was already kind of moving 5 minutes ahead of time at the point where they got the interception. Before the interception, I was already 5 minutes ahead. I was already getting ready to talk about the Staley firing. But all of a sudden, K9 got the interception. So now you got to look at, all right, Brandon Staley, you deserve some credit. You deserve some love. But it was not just him that night. It was not just him. It was Justin Herbert having a career night. Justin Herbert so far, 3 touchdowns, over 400 yards in that game. This is a crazy stat. This is one thing I'm gonna give you guys. This is something that has not happened in over 30-some years in football. And this is something that's very interesting and crazy. The Vikings defense blitz 81% of all of Herbert's dropbacks. This is something that happens like when you play NFL Madden. When you play Madden on the video game, you can clearly see that, every time you're playing defense, you're just going to blitz the quarterback, blitz him, blitz. That's what Herbert was going through. So Herbert had to adjust. Herbert had to adjust within the game, make the right calls, get the right protection, and that's where you do got to give some credit to Joshua Kelly. Even though he did not pick up the yards on the offensive side of the ball, he was able to protect the quarterback. Protect. Because Herbert, he did get sacked, but he didn't get beat down. I mean, when you look at these stats and you look at, 81% of this dropbacks he got blitz on, you might be thinking like, wow, did he walk away with a broken leg? Did he get another broken ribs? No, no scratches or anything to him. Yeah, he got taken down, but he did not get beat up. That was a key part there about the protection from the offensive line with Rashawn Slater, Jameer Slayer, and as well talking about the running backs and as well some of the wide receivers at times, making some great blocks. But it was very interesting, a very, very interesting game in the way the Vikings blew this game, the Chargers walking away with a huge game. We see the stats here on the screen for you. You see what Justin Herbert was able to do, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But then you look at Kirk Cousins' numbers, kind of similar, 367 yards, having 3 touchdowns. But that one interception right there was crucial for Kirk Cousins right there. So the Vikings are 0-3. The Chargers are 1-2, but there was a lot more things that happened in that game, which is something that we will be talking about when we come back from this commercial break. We're going to take this commercial break and we're going to talk about what is coming up for the Chargers. There were 2 headline stories. We look at the return of possible Austin Eckler this Sunday afternoon against the Raiders. Will Eckler return? I got the latest on him coming up right now. As well, Mike Williams. Yes, Mike Williams will be out for the season, and the Raiders-Chargers preview this Sunday will return.
What's up, y'all? This is Lexi Brown with the LA Sparks, and you're watching Infanity TV.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by...
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Chanel Gwimike, and you're watching Infanity Television. Boom.
That is right. You are watching Infanity Television. Myself, Fredo Cervantes. And yes, we are having an amazing time right here at Bolts Weekly right now. And I talked about what was going on in that same game right now. We look at what is going on with the injuries. We have 2 big injuries right now. Let's start off with what happened this Sunday afternoon with Mike Williams going down. He is out for the remaining of the season. He did tear his ACL in his left knee, which is something that, they're expecting him to be back by training camp of next season, but I don't believe he will be back for that. I think it's going to be too early and too soon, especially when he's kind of dealt with the same situation over the past few seasons. So hopefully he does return nice and healthy, because he is in the second year of his third-year contract right now. So hopefully, I mean, I wish Mike Williams nothing but the best. It sucks that it had to happen this way early in the season. But, you know, you really can't predict these kind of things. You know, things like this happen all the time. But hopefully Mike Williams does recover perfectly fine. But right now, another guy that we're really kind of looking at right now, we're trying to figure out, when is Austin Eckler going to return? Austin Eckler did participate in practice earlier today, and he did look pretty good out there. He was doing individual drills, which is something typical that players do, whether they're coming back from an injury or they're just kind of getting back and slow into the ball game here. But Austin Eckler did miss the last 2 games. He only played on that opening week against Miami Dolphins here at SoFi Stadium. But Austin Eckler, it's just a lot of speculation with Austin Eckler. When you look at the controversial kind of, you know, situation that went on during the offseason, and you look at, well, does Eckler really want to be in Los Angeles? Yeah, he requested a trade. He wants out of LA, but he doesn't want out of Los Angeles. He doesn't hate the Chargers. He loves the Chargers. He said he loves his organization for giving him the opportunity as an undrafted player years ago. And right now, all he worried about, he's like, look, I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my family. I got to look out for myself, which at the end of the day, anybody out there watching right now, you know that at the end of the day, you got to worry about yourself. You got to put yourself first before you put others in front of you. But Austin Eckler right now, it seems like, you know, that ankle injury, which was a little swollen about 2 weeks ago right after the game, right now he's feeling a lot better. He did mention he's feeling a lot better. He's moving a lot quicker. But right now it seems like he still will not be available for this Sunday's game. Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers, did talk about possibly holding him out for this week, because they do have a bye week next week. They have a bye week, so it gives Eckler the opportunity to not re-aggravate his injury and kind of continue saving them for that next week, because after the Chargers have this bye week, they will be starting the season returning on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys here at SoFi Stadium, October the 15th. So it is going to be a great time once that Cowboy game gets here right after the bye week. But hopefully Austin Eckler really puts himself together in the best shape possible when he does return after the bye week. But there is one player as well as J.C. Jackson. J.C. Jackson, you know, for some of you guys that caught me on the breaks on Tuesdays here on Infanity TV, I talked about the situation with J.C. Jackson. I talked that he was going to possibly be suspended, maybe be in jail, because there isn't a warrant for his arrest in the state of Massachusetts after, you know, failing to appear in courts, failing to pay a few fines. But he is at practice right now. He was at practice, and he was inactive. He was inactive this past Sunday, where it was pretty interesting when Brandon Staley's like, well, I got a few corners here that I feel confident that we have a good chance in winning this game without J.C. Jackson, the guy they signed for 5 years, worth almost $85 million last season. So with that being said, there's something there. There's something there behind J.C. Jackson and Brandon Staley's relationship. But Staley did mention that there is an opportunity that J.C. Jackson will be in the lineup this upcoming Sunday, but did not guarantee that. He also said, hey, it's up to his work ethic. He got to work hard. You know, you got to earn your reps. You got to earn your possessions here in the NFL. Things are not just going to be given to you, as you know, Staley stated. But hopefully it is going to be a very interesting moment to see what happens this upcoming Sunday, which I will be talking more about this Sunday's matchup with the Raiders and the Chargers live from SoFi Stadium, as I'll be there to catch all that amazing coverage. But also, you got to give a shout out to Keenan Allen. Even though Mike Williams went out, you look at what happened with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen in the first 3 games, very incredible, very amazing. You're looking at Keenan Allen, he got targeted 39 times so far in 3 games. That is the most in the NFL right now. He also has 32 catches out of the 39 targets. That is the most for the wide receivers in the NFL right now. He also has picked up 402 yards. That is the third most in the NFL, as well as collecting his 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen is a veteran. He's been around here for almost 10 years now. He knows what this organization is about. There is a lot of up and downs throughout the year, but Keenan Allen has been a professional off the field and on the field, being able to keep his team together, especially the wide receiver core. Having those core players right there to stay focused. Yes, you lost a big player in Mike Williams, but you also got an adjustment with Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston, the rookie out of TCU right now, Quentin has played all 3 games. He's been silent. He's one of those guys who's just been a silencer out there. Quentin Johnston so far in 3 games, check this out. In 3 games, he has 5 catches, 26 yards. 26 yards in 3 games, you can clearly see maybe Staley did not want to go after it, or maybe Herbert decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to Mike. I'm going to go to Keenan. I'm going to go to Everett. I'm going to go to Parham. I'm going to go to Palmer. Herbert got options. He got options. But Quentin Johnston gives him the opportunity to give you more yardage after the catch, which we know that Quentin Johnston, that was the number one thing he got drafted for. He didn't get drafted because, he was a tall wide receiver. No, he was drafted because of what he does after he catches the ball. There's certain players in the NFL that can catch the ball, but are they effective? Are they special? Are they dynamic? Can they really push the ball up the field after making the catch? Quentin Johnston led TCU in all of college football last year in yards after the catch. So we know that Quentin Johnston could be a weapon for the Chargers, filling in for Mike Williams. And that's something that Brandon Staley did say. He's like, it's kind of next man mentality kind of thing. Next man's got to step up, whether it's Quentin, whether it's Parham, whether it's Palmer, maybe Everett. But the Chargers are pretty confident moving forward. And I did get a chance to see what Justin Herbert had to say at practice earlier today. And he said a few interesting things. And, he did talk about the injury of Mike Williams and the rest of the team. But this is what Justin Herbert had to say.
I feel horrible for the guy. He's such a great teammate, such a great friend. And, anytime you go through an injury like that, it's got to be tough. And so we, as a team, have to do our best to be there for him, help him out however we can. And know that he's going to come back stronger than ever.
What are the adjustments you make personnel-wise with Mike done for the year now?
I think you just got to rely on the guys behind him to step up and do their job. And, thankfully we've had a ton of reps with them so far. So looking forward to seeing those guys compete.
Justin, as far as developing trust with the receiver, how important is that, and how do you go about doing that? I guess I'm specifically talking about a guy like Josh Palmer, who you've been throwing to obviously since 2021. How does that trust get built with a receiver?
I think probably just getting reps with him, whether it's in practice or whether it's in games, getting the timing down, knowing where he's going to be, and understand the type of ball that I need to deliver to him.
Going back to when he was a rookie, he was that guy that was sort of out there every day, after those training camp practices, sort of being there for you when you wanted to get more throws in. How important were those moments, sort of early on, in terms of building that trust with Josh?
A ton. They're reps, and so they're all valuable. And he did a great job of being out there and wanting to get better. And he's done a great job over the past couple of years of, perfecting his craft. And he's still out there working right now. I feel horrible.
So yeah, that's what Justin Herbert had to say after practice earlier today, and he's very confident. One thing I do love about Justin Herbert, I love the fact that he is a professional, the way he answers every single question. Sometimes, as reporters, they like to kind of dig in a few times with certain players, but so there's certain players like Herbert who just don't kind of, give the attention to that type of question. And no matter what it is, Herbert always is a professional on and off the field. And he's a great teammate as well. He's a great cooker as well. He likes to, as we like to call it, he likes to have his victory brisket. Every single Sunday after he gets a victory, he likes to cook his own brisket, which I really hope and wonder if he did cook a brisket after this Sunday's victory. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, all right? When we return here on Bolts Weekly, we're going to go ahead and talk about what is happening with the NFL. There's a lot of things to talk about around the league as well. The Raiders, Chargers, my final prediction and look here at this game when we return.
What's up, y'all? This is Lexi Brown with the LA Sparks, and you're watching Infanity TV.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by...
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Chanel Gwimike, and you're watching Infanity Television. Boom.
And we're back here on your Bolts Weekly show, and it's very interesting to see what this Charger-Raider matchup is going to look like this upcoming Sunday at SoFi Stadium. It's going to be an incredible night. Honestly, me attending every single game, seeing what the environment is, there is nothing like having a Raiders-Chargers game at SoFi Stadium because the building is just electric. I mean, there's just so much going on that I'm definitely going to tell you what my prediction is. I can clearly see because for some of your Raider fans out there, I know there's a lot of Raider fans out there, and you guys have kind of seen already what the possibility is about, Davante Adams right now. You look at what Davante Adams is doing, and right now Davante is looking pretty good, but he is so upset. He's so upset at the Raiders organization. He's upset at McDaniels, the coach. He's just like, look, what are we doing here? That's what he kind of said. He's like, what are we doing here? He's like, we talk the talk every single week, but nothing's happening. Results are not coming out here. So he's like, what are we doing here? He was very upset. And luckily, the Raiders were able to secure Josh Jacobs' contract prior to the season. So they got their running back. They got their wide receiver. Now they got their quarterback. But if we look at the quarterback right now, we look at the comparisons from Justin Herbert and Jimmy Garoppolo. We look at Herbert with the amount of numbers, the passes that he's putting up here, and we look at the touchdowns as well, But when we look at the interceptions, 6 interceptions thrown so far by Jimmy Garoppolo in 3 games. 6 interceptions. That's more than touchdowns he has. It's crazy. It's incredible, but guess what? Jimmy Garoppolo right now, he is in concussion protocol. He is still, as of this moment, not guaranteed to play this Sunday at SoFi Stadium against the Chargers. But Justin Herbert is looking pretty good right now. Herbert is putting up career numbers right now. 939 yards so far, 6 touchdowns, 90 completions out of 121 attempts. That's incredible right there. That's a number that, any quarterback in the league would fight for those numbers right there. But there's a lot of returns. Of course, we talked about the possibility of Eckler returning to the Raider game, but there's also the possibility of Eric Kendricks coming into this game right now. Eric Kendricks, who did take the last game off, which was against his former team, the Minnesota Vikings, Eric Kendricks is expected to start in this game. So when we look at what Eric brings to this team, it's going to be looking pretty good. But as well, another player that might not be playing in this game is Derwin James. Derwin James pulled his hamstring over at Minnesota, and it's not looking so good right now for Derwin James. It's not looking so good, as well as Gilman. Gilman is also dealing with another injury, which it seems like maybe, Asante Samuel Jr. might have to step up huge. Because not having those type of defensive players out there is going to be an ugly scene. But maybe it's a benefit for the Las Vegas Raiders, seeing what they're going to be able to do against this Chargers team. Both of them are at 1-2 right now. Both head coaches are dealing with a little bit of drama behind their decision making. Of course, Josh McDaniels, it seems like he does not know how to count because he thought he had a 2-possession game when he was down by 8. If you're down by 8 in the NFL, that's 1 possession. That's 6 points for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. 6 plus 2 equals 8. Josh McDaniels thought that equaled something else. So that's why he decided to make crucial decisions in that game, which was lost. But at the same time, it's going to be a crazy, crazy environment. It's going to be an exciting moment. I hope everyone watches this game. The Chargers are entering this game as a 5.5-point favorites over the Las Vegas Raiders, which if I was you, I will definitely take the spread on the Chargers. You can definitely see the Chargers winning by 6+ points, especially with the type of defense the Las Vegas Raiders have been able to play. Not so good. And the Chargers offense has not been a problem all year long. It's not been a problem. The defense has been the problem. So we can expect the Chargers to put up points. We can expect the Raiders to throw more interceptions if Jimmy Garoppolo's out there throwing, because it just seems, he might throw me a pass if he sees me out there. He might throw me one. Maybe I'll take the game ball home. But it's going to be a very good game, so make sure everyone follow us here at Infanity TV. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Fredo Cervantes. I'll be bringing you guys all of the latest coverage live from SoFi Stadium this Sunday, as game is scheduled to kick off at 1 o'clock on CBS here, Channel 2 in Los Angeles. But it was an amazing show here with you guys today. Of course, guys, every single week is going to be amazing, because we got about, 16 more weeks to go, because I do see the Chargers making the playoffs. So what does that mean? Fredo got to do Bolts Weekly Playoff Edition, which is going to be a crazy look to go ahead and look forward to in 2024. But hey, we are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure to have you guys all here. Again, follow us here on YouTube and Instagram. Subscribe here today, because I will be bringing you a lot more to talk about. I'll see you guys next Wednesday, live from the Infanity Studios. See you guys then.